Hi, welcome back to Hard Hat and Headspace. Really special episode this week because I am part of the HS Trimmers Movember team. So I've asked the rest of the gang to come along, talk about their experience so far, show off their moustaches, and give you an idea as to why they're doing it, what's important about Movember, and generally, hopefully, have a giggle as well as talk a bit of serious stuff about why this is important. As you can see, some of us have got some great moustaches. I've had mine coloured in by my daughter because I'm grey and that is not. So enjoy, sit back. For those who aren't watching on a video, that meant I was pointing at my grey hair and my brown moustache. Enjoy. Right, welcome to podcast, everybody. This week's episode, as I said in the intro, is about HS Trimmers. Me and my colleagues, I've got a couple of them to join the podcast this week. Very well planned out, all of 4 or 5 hours notice for us to put this together. But as you can see, we've got some beautiful facial hair, raising money for a very good cause that you'll all have heard of as Movember. But I want to introduce first my two colleagues, Colin and Johnno, leading the way, team leaders for us this year. So welcome onto the podcast, chaps.
Thanks, Stuart.
Good to have you on.
Just to point out that I didn't have any chin stubble before we started trying to set this podcast up. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just trying to work out what it's going to become, a mo rather than a beard, Johnno. So, you know.
This weekend. This is going.
Nice.
Yeah, this is going this weekend. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
But as the captain, I carry
responsibilities.
I carry responsibilities, but also have a bit of authority to say what goes on. But no, it will comply.
So you're the team. So yes, Johnno, you're the team leader. So tell people that are listening and watching, whichever one they choose, why, what we're up to, and why we're doing this. For those that don't know.
Yeah, well, Movember's been quite kind of important to me over the years because my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer quite a while ago now, and I kind of just wanted to do a bit. He was just let me say, he was cured, and he's now 87, and no issues, no long-term issues. So we were very blessed with that. And I just kind of I'd seen it around, and it was when I started doing it. Was this 13th year? It was very much the kind of the whole Australian thing, and it wasn't so big over here. And so I decided just to kind of start doing it myself. Tried to get up a bit of kind of team spirit on one of the many construction projects as I worked on, but it didn't really take off. But I carried on doing it myself, and pretty much bullying subcontractors into paying me. Otherwise, their timesheets didn't get sent off. But then that's kind of morphed into, as I kind of went up the scales and met more people on bigger kind of projects. It became a little bit trendy, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, and I hadn't had too much trouble kind of roping people in to have a go. So yeah, personally, me now 13th year, I'm very, very pleased to say that I've been graduated into the Movember Hall of Fame.
Legend.
For my efforts. So you do get when you get into that kind of level, you do get invited to quite a few evening events and kind of research evenings and kind of lessons learned type movement to see how they can improve and how they can kind of move forward. So much so that last year, or maybe it was even earlier in this year, they published the kind of Men's Health Charter, which is a huge, great big 100-page document of how to best approach men's health going forward. And so, yeah, it's quite nice to be part of that team, the Movember team. But as we have Colin and another 13 people this year, it's quite nice just for the crack as well. Just have a bit of fun and get other people involved. And this last year we had a couple of girls who joined in the team as well. And it's kind of morphed away from just growing a moustache into the movement type thing as well. And I know Stevie Walsh, who's involved with this, does his bit for the kind of on the bike, and he logs all those kind of activity miles. So there's something for boys and girls to do now. Last year, I had the kind of, my vice captain was Barry Rowland, was in a similar situation to me, but much more recently. His dad was suffering with kind of pretty progressed cancer. So he kind of took part in it and was almost fundamental in the whole. Also, we did a kind of parallel PSA testing as well. So he kind of fronted that up with me. But this year I've got an even better and more attractive, and what has turned out to be even more lucrative source of donations this year.
I had to pay him for the attractive bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Give him about 10 a later.
And he made me try out to get into the team and everything. So I'm in. I've got in.
Yeah.
It's a pretty unpleasant tryout. Pretty unpleasant.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Go on. And what about you, Colin? Tell us a bit about your involvement and story.
You know, but for people who don't know, this time last year, and it was this time last year, I was in a battle with stage 3 prostate cancer. Now, I won, but 12,000 men every year don't win their battle. That's over 30 men a day die of prostate cancer. I mean, it's pretty horrific. It's cancer, diagnosed quick enough, early enough, it's curable. And I know Movember goes beyond just prostate, suicide. And Stuart, I know you've done some podcasts on men's suicide and testicle cancer, but obviously for me, I feel really lucky that I'm here. And luckily, we've done brilliant raising money this year. To me, it's been fairly easy because it's quite a personal thing. I'm lucky to be here. A year, I was diagnosed, but I didn't have a high PSA. I had no symptoms. I had no aches and pains, no family history. And, I was just flipping lucky. I won't try not to swear on your beautiful podcast.
You can swear, Colin, it's fine.
And it's about awareness, people being aware. And mine, the only reason they picked up was there's a trend. I'd been for my medical every year and they found a trend. I had a spike, even though my spike wasn't high. And I got checked out and I was at stage 3. If I'd left another 6 months, we know the story of Chris Hoy and how, sad that is. I would have been another Chris Hoy. People need to be aware that when you're 50 or above, you can go to your doctors anytime and get a PSA test. So go and get one. Then every year, as if it's your birthday, go and get another one, and then they can pick up a spike. Yeah, it's just about that awareness. It's great that we can raise some money as well for what is, a fantastic cause.
It was that trend thing, wasn't it? So, it was that trend thing that I didn't kind of understand. It was something that came out. We did 120. Yeah, we did 4 days last year. 120 guys came along.
Incredible that, by the way.
This is an advert for men of a certain age. Who would have thought 120 blokes signed up to do something, and actually every one of them did it within 5 minutes of saying when they're doing it. So never let it be said that a man can multitask. But we did 120 last year. We've done 90 this year. But it was kind of Colin when he spoke about these trends, and somebody said, "Well, what was your level last year?" And I didn't know. I had to go back. I had to go back to the company that did our testing and say, what was I last year? My result came back. You're well within the kind of bounds of it. But until Colin said about these trend things, and a couple of other guys had read about it and said, can you find out what my figure was last year to try and see if it was going up or indeed it had gone down? It seems to be this. It's not just a one-off. That's what's hit me this year. It's not just that one-off test. You've got to keep getting that constant check.
It's a snapshot in time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually that. And you can have a high PSA about prostate cancer, and you can have a low PSA like I did and have advanced prostate cancer. But if you've got a trend, that's your safety net. Yeah. That's what Chris Hoy didn't have, unfortunately. I mean, Chris Hoy, he's turned 49, but they wouldn't test him anyway because he wasn't 50, and this is a big campaign. If you've got family history, Johnno said, I had no family history as far as we know I'm first. You should be checked out by when you're 40 and upwards and get that trend early.
It is. I mean, I'm lucky, right? I've been tested because we have, through Mace anyway, we get the Bupa health checks, and you can have the digital examination every year. And I think I've had for the last 5 years. And I'm only 48. I look older than everyone else, but I am only 48. And it's worth it, you know. And it's not a PSA test. It's a different, well-used exam, well-known exam. But, you know, for that second that it is, fine, isn't it? You know, get it checked out. And but after you did it at Euston, right, and you started doing that together, I'm fortunate, really lucky. I work across all the projects, and I have shouted about this everywhere. So you're all famous for that anyway. So, but that awareness, and for many other things, no doubt, but that awareness of getting tested and looking at the trends, which people wouldn't know, you know, and I my father-in-law he's 92 nearly, right? In a couple of weeks he'll make it. Just right, it's got hold of him during COVID. They stopped testing him, and he was all right. And then COVID, but goes back to the doctors. Bang, 278 from nothing, right? But they brought it back down to about 5 for 3 years, and then about a year ago, just after he broke his hip, started coming back up. And they've stopped checking now because they're kind of like, we've done all the treatment you can for your age. And do you know, you could say poor him, or the one thing I've heard quite a lot is good innings. I don't really buy that, right? Every other part of his life is fine. His health, his liver, his kidneys, blood pressure of a 15-year-old at his age. He's amazing. And I think we missed out 2 or 3 years of him being checked for that trend.
So the thing is, the stats are it's 1 in 8 men will get it. 1 in 8 is quite high, isn't it? But your GP, they tend to be quite good at writing to the ladies, telling them every year you've got to come for a smear test. They're not very good at actually writing to you, hang on a minute, you're 50, come and have a PSA test, and come back in a year. You know, why not? It doesn't happen.
We got a guy from our scaffolding contractors on the site. We got at Euston, and his dad passed away from it. So he went in as I think he's mid-40s, say he's mid-40s, and asked for a PSA test at his GP. And they said, "Oh, we don't do it as a practice." And he said, "Well, you know, is there any family history?" He actually said, my dad passed away from it." And the GP surgery at that point still said, "Well, I'm really sorry, you'll have to go somewhere else to kind of
somewhere private."
In the end, he paid for it himself and had it done. But as Cole says, it's, you know, it should be. And I think that was one of the great things here. We did get 120 people through, but people of 35 and 36 were saying, "Can I come along? Can I come along?" And really, it's not necessarily for that age group, but if you can get those, you know, it was a great investment, because if those guys get used to going at 36, 37, and Colin says about trends, that you could see it, you know, could see it peaking up or picking up from a certain age.
That's their safety net. No. And it should be. If you've got family history, you're at far greater risk. And as my consultant said, look, if you're over 40, you need to be creative. Go to your GP. Say, I'm having difficulty peeing. Be truthful with your story. And I've got family history. They should test you. It's disappointing people aren't tested. You know, and I think it's a virus. I mean, it was great hitting the guys on the side, because they don't really, if they're working away from home, when do they get to go to a GP?
No chance.
Yeah, exactly. When do they get checked out?
And it was crazy. It was like, how many was it? 1,300 quid. 1,300 quid for 30 for a day. That's just like, you know,
it's nothing.
It's nothing. It's not like an expensive drug on the NHS that's got to go through NICE or whatever it is to get approved, is it?
And if you know, I know you said it before, I talk about the mental health side of stuff as well, right? And the suicide prevention. If you help one person out of it that has that a next chance at life again, it was worth that 1,300 quid. Do you know what I mean? We should do it all the time. And I see, how do I put this diplomatically? I see plenty of money that could be better utilised across our industry in things like this than other things we do to create culture and behaviours. This kind of behaviour, caring for people, surely that's the one. We've got another guest about to join us here.
It's a bit frustrating. I found it a bit frustrating. Also that people you've got to have somebody like Colin, unfortunately, but God bless him, he's here. You've got to have somebody who's suffered either from mental health, either through problems of consideration of suicide and things, or somebody who's had testicular cancer, or somebody who's suffering or had prostate cancer. It's lovely to have somebody at actual face value who can actually speak from the heart, because it's bloody difficult trying to convince people that if you haven't got a sad story behind it. And I think we're maybe not lucky, we're gifted that between us we've all got a story that you can share with people to make it a bit more real.
Yeah, I feel very lucky though I'm still here for one. But I think that your mental health, and if you're going through that, and you find out about yourself, and we've done, as you know, the Mates in Mind, and I've been the trainer, and in a way that helped me. It's about talking to people and because it does have an impact, and it's the ripple effects. It's not, they say it's a male thing. I think, Johnno, you've said in one of your things, it goes beyond that. It really hits your family as well.
It does.
And the impact on them is enormous. It doesn't matter what you say. You sort of appreciate what they're going through.
And in your role, I'll introduce Thomas to say, in your role as the parent, the dad, and the husband, and the son or brother in that family, you're and the person who's going through it, you still got to be the one who cares and brings people through it.
There was a great video, and I'll try and find you the link on the Movember website. It was very much that. It's not just the bloke. It's just not the chap that's having the problems. I know we're in a much more balanced society now, where male and females mainly working, both full-time working. Traditionally, it had obviously been the kind of more male-dominated breadwinner kind of scenario. That isn't the case. That isn't the case anymore.
No, so
everybody needs to be working, and if one of those people is fundamentally disabled or debilitated from working, it has a massive and huge knock-on effect to the family, not only emotionally but financially. And so it's a huge thing. And I think Movember are doing that pretty well, about trying to highlight that. And it's another reason why they're bringing the female side into what was historically seen as a male club. So Anyway,
Thomas,
look at that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that old badger that's joined us now.
Apologies, got delayed.
That's all right. Well, those listening to it or watching this on YouTube or Spotify won't really understand that we're all in work time here whenever this has been done. We're not really, for anyone who's going to knock our time cards this week. But,
anyone at head office.
Anyone at head office.
Yeah, don't fuss. I don't have a lunch break. It's all right.
Thomas, thanks for joining us. Right, so we've been talking about why we're all getting involved in Movember, and Johnno's given us his history into this, and obviously Colin's experience in the last year. But what's it mean for you? Why you, apart from being cajoled and tickled into it by Johnno?
Yeah, that is definitely a big factor. Definitely a big factor. When did we work together, Mark? 2007?
Yeah, we've been together 20 odd years.
And unfortunately, I persuaded Mark that he wanted to leave Bovis and join Mace instead. So I'm actually responsible for Mark being here. So I take the guilt for that. I'm sorry. But no, it's a good thing to do. You got to do it. And weirdly, my brother-in-law had prostate cancer this year and was treated, and it's okay. I really don't get on with the guy, but obviously I'm sympathetic, so I thought I'd do it for that. But also, I like doing it for the mental health and the suicide stuff, because we live in a grinding industry which drives people to despair and just casts everybody aside. And you've got to create that space where it's okay. You really have, and you've got to create a space where you can just get on with your job and put your game face on, or take it off, when you need to. And
you do,
and that's why I'm doing it, because we just got to make a bit of space to actually for it to be okay, and for us to get on with what we do, without it being this kind of negative atmosphere you often get.
Yeah, I mean, we work in a macho industry traditionally, but I have found through stuff we've done and we predominantly at Euston, right? Euston's been a massive impact on all of our lives for whatever reason, right? Definitely the stress, but the learning about cancer and stuff, and but the last 5 years of my life have been at the project. But in that time, Jackie got diagnosed with breast cancer and rang me from outside Euston on a day when I was working at home, right? And she's like, I'm stood outside this big tower. I was like, oh my God, you're right outside the office. I just had a call to come back in from Bupa, and they've got some funny results. 3 days later, her dad gets the results from his prostate from his PSA tests, as we said before, 270 plus. And you're like, poor. And all of those things affect us. And it was the mental health side of things that got me in the end. And I think if I hadn't been with that team and I hadn't done the thing with the barbers that we did and had the private medical insurance, Jackie might not be here. I certainly might not have gone to see the right person to sort this out. And we were saying before about being forceful and being creative. If you do need to use the NHS to find your PSA test, not everyone's going to be as fortunate as us to go and have private, right? Do it. And don't be ashamed of seeking help is the message I've taught myself, but also learned over the last 5 years that in times by we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't have sat around here, would we, thinking, shit, tomorrow morning, us four are going to be on the internet for the world to see talking about this. 6 years ago, did I not tell you that bit, Johnno? You look a bit surprised then.
No, I was just thinking back to what you were saying, and Thomas said about his brother-in-law, maybe perhaps not the most favourite person in the world. You've got to put all that aside, haven't you? Because it is pretty easy to help. Not all the people we work with are friends and colleagues, and some of the people you work with, you literally wouldn't mind if you didn't see them again. But there is a responsibility to.
Please don't start naming them.
Yeah, but we do. I think I'm very much in the belief we do have a moral obligation to just to do the right thing for all the guys that we kind of come up with, and so it's kind of.
Stuart, there you go. We got our client to dress up as well. So some of those are real, those are fake ones. So we got all our quiz participants to do a bit of Movember cross advertising.
Amazing.
Put their hand in the pocket.
Yeah, we need to we need to pay to put false ones on,
Yeah, no, we've got a load of false ones.
Good, amazing. Fantastic.
No, I do think we got a kind of moral obligation to share the word and to try and help out everybody, because as Colin says, 1 in 8, I must admit I'll own up to having a little bit of a monkey on my shoulder when I did it last year, because you're thinking 1 in 8 guys might have a kind of abnormal reading. Doesn't mean they have, doesn't mean they haven't, but 1 in 8 out of there, I was thinking, how, but nice people, Colin being one of them, says all you're doing, you're not telling people bad news, you're not telling people good news, you're just making people aware. But it should be a bit of a responsibility. I think everybody should take that responsibility.
It is an awareness piece. And I think as an industry, we've just talked about mental health, as an industry, that's only sort of a recent thing, isn't it? We start talking about it. And our record as an industry has been terrible. Yeah. For men's suicide in construction, because it is a mature industry, no one wants to talk about it. And it's the same with all this similar problems. So I said, when I had the prostate cancer, doing that mates in mind that we'd done, and sort of being a trainer or whatever and running the courses, that helped me, and that sort of gave me that sort of tool, if you like, to reflect on what you're telling people and do it. And I think I hope that it sort of helped sort of some of my family as well. I think some of it, especially with prostate, I felt fine. And it wasn't like I was in pain and being sick and all the rest of it, where someone goes, God, go and get yourself out. When I told my wife, she was up, you went for a jog last weekend. You can't have cancer.
You were running marathons. You were running marathons last year.
I did do a half. I've done a half earlier this year. But so it's sometimes it's hard to get your head around.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
And, this is building what I'm doing with the podcast, right? But part of that was about my mental health and talking to people, but seeing the impact it will have. I assure you, someone will watch or listen to this and get in touch and go, Colin, thanks. Johnno, thanks for doing this. Thomas, thanks for talking. Because you see another grey in middle-aged white guy speaking out that doesn't normally. I'm not, seriously. He ain't got any grey to have on here now. But it's really important, right? You see, to see people like us, like talking about stuff that is personal.
Yeah, I'm aware from people hearing my story. I'm aware of 3 people that have been checked and have gone through the treatment now. And funny enough, I was just with somebody who heard my story and got checked out for prostate, but they found something else wrong. And he's just got it all clear off cancer. But they said if you left it another 6 months, it would have been a different story. So, yeah, it is an awareness. If we can do it, I mean, this is great. Johnno's been doing it longer than I've been around this November thing. So,
it's because he's dead old.
Like the young apprentice that's joining the old people.
I lost you there, Colin. I lost you.
Yeah. He said, but
in fairness, though, Stuart, I think more people are going to be contacting you after this podcast, asking how come your hair is a different colour to your moustache.
Oh,
well, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is not dyed. Unfortunately, normally it has died. It's died. It's dead. Yeah,
that's never coming back.
It's normally the same length as Colin's, to be fair, and Mr. Leighton's. I just like to copy. But yeah, my daughter said you can't do a podcast with your boys from work where they can't see your moustache because it's so grey, Dad. So half an hour before we pressed record on this, maybe 45 minutes once it actually recorded, she dyed it for me upstairs. So it is normally as grey as the top of my head. So yeah, it's not a Sharpie. It is actually beard stuff that she's
you're not alone. You want to get Mark Winter on, the spider guy, because his daughters were dyeing his beard like the 1 week it's much blacker than the next week sort of thing.
He was on the invite for this. He was on the invite for this.
He used to work for Dr. and Slight, and he had it done as a TFL roundel, so there's a circle with a line through a couple of years back, you said.
Oh, that's
amazing.
But, to be honest,
that's the thing.
It's quite a nice little lever to have just conversations with people. Like it's an instant conversation starter. Even the gruffest, whatever. It's like
we did actually think of getting a T-shirt with the QR, with his QR code on. So when he comes in on the train, when people are looking at him, he can just
that's amazing.
But that's
a genius idea.
It is but it's kind of, and you look at those, but it is just fun as well. And a lot of people take themselves, let alone other, they take themselves far too seriously as well. And so, going around and having it's as Thomas says, it is a pretty demanding industry, and we don't have the crack as much as we probably should do. So this is just another period to be as stupid as you want to be, really. So yeah.
And you can't go into a meeting with a top lip like you've got a Hulk Hogan memorial club going on, yes, brother, when you're going in, and not have a laugh and talk about it, you know what I mean? Or maybe Lemmy.
About that, Stuart, because changing fashion sense is way, way more popular than 18 years ago, 15 years ago when it started. And now it's like people just look at you, you just got a bit. It's not like I'm doing it for charity. It's just like, that's fashion, it's your choice. So I wonder a little bit about the impact going.
Before you joined us, Thomas, we were suggested as cheats.
Because you haven't got to moustache phase yet, boys. You two, Thomas and Johnno, you got to get
don't you worry.
It's Movember, not Beervember. Beervember I could do, but
you'd be the biggest flipping. You'd be the winner on that one, Stu.
That's next month, isn't it?
Beervember's coming next month. But I mean, I get your point. Different fashions. You could go to any of the meetings, the ESG groups now. Anyone could turn up with a moustache and join in, or get moving and get talking about it, or the different areas we're going into. We've got the voice meeting tomorrow. We get people involved in that, and I think us doing this is tremendous, and November is great. we will get our QR code for the teams, and we'll have it up as part of the podcast in between breaks, up at the front, at the end. We'll share it. But look, I think it's fantastic that we're getting together as a team. I think I'm inspired by everyone who's on it, in part of the team. I've been pushing today because I am a little bit competitive. I do not like being third from last. So I've been putting it out on Facebook and LinkedIn during today. But I think, look, we can get people talking. Awareness means you do something about it. You know, I've heard plenty of times over different places, it's not just about awareness, it's about action. Awareness is action. Yeah. If you're aware, you will take action.
Have we got a wrap-up next Friday? Because that'll be the last calendar day of November. We're actually at work.
We could do, yeah.
I'll be quite vociferous in the next week. Believe me, if you think I've been in a country pursuits whipping in so far, there'll be an awful lot of catching up.
Yeah, but I think the money we raise is brilliant. I exceeded expectations. But I think, sure, you just said it is about awareness. We can raise the awareness. I know it's if just one person can get checked out for whatever, and we just help one person. What a difference! What a difference that makes, doesn't it? But yeah,
I mean, like Thomas says, you don't even have to like them to help them. I'm paraphrasing.
I think that's going to be the strapline for this podcast. You don't have to like somebody to help them.
Do you know what? That is going to be the title of this podcast, Movember. You don't have to like us to love us.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
And
take it.
You've even got a guest appearance behind Thomas there of Robbie Williams. But look, this is going out to a wider audience than our wonderful project there. Any final thoughts? Is it just a Bob Geldof from you? If you remember Live Aid, you'll remember what he's famous for.
The money? Just give the money? With extra words in the middle?
With extra money extra money in the middle there on it, Give us your money.
Yeah, I think Colin's hit the nail on the head. I think we raised 14,000 last year. We're probably on the way to that this year, but it's not. I'd swap every one of those pounds if I could think I could get 14,000 people a bit more aware. I'd swap every penny of that. Yeah. And even if of that 14,000, there was only one person that you found out that could be diagnosed early or saved. It's not.
And it's not just November, is it? We've got to keep the message going. I hope we're going to do better testing here next year.
Yeah.
Keep that message going.
Yeah.
And just constant.
What I haven't told you, Colin, is going to come as a shock to you. We're doing a calendar next year. We're doing
flower pots. Do we get flower pots?
Well, I'm not going to say too much, but we've got a wide-angle lens. All right.
Wide angle. Well, macro. I was thinking more macro to myself, but there we go.
Anyway,
that's a scary thought.
Microscopes. Anyway. Yes, look, those people that didn't join didn't get the choice of that bit, did they? But look, thank you, gents. I will share this. Anyone listening to this podcast, please share and get it out there on your social profiles and help us bros with Mo's, save some more bros and other people like you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, chaps, for joining me this afternoon. It has been a giggle. Especially just getting it working at the start.
That
was an experience. I did say it was easy as Teams, and Teams is useless at times as well. Yeah. But look, thank you very much, gents. All the links will go in. This will be published on about 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday, the 19th of November, on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stuart.
Cheers, Stuart.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, thanks, mate.